So one of the most important features that I see a lot of people not setting up in their ActiveCampaign account is the website tracking. It's really easy to set up and it'll take you probably about 5 minutes to do. So what you first need to do is log into ActiveCampaign, then go over to the settings panel and then click on tracking in the left-hand menu. You want to turn on your site tracking, so make sure it's enabled. Add your website URLs. Now here you want to make sure that you've got all the URLs for any website that you're tracking. So make sure you click through to the different pages on your site, because sometimes your blog will be at a subdomain, might be blog.domain.com, might be your cart might be on a separate subdomain, might be cart.domain.com. You could have other aliases and other domains that are masked over the top of your domain. So your primary domain might be mitch.com, but maybe you've got another domain called mitchesalias.com, and that one there will actually mask over the primary domain, but it will still show all the primary domain's content just under a separate unique domain name. So make sure you have all those URLs in your whitelist here, and you can just add those URLs here and click on add. Then next you want to have the tracking code and just want to control copy that. Go over to your website, and here the easiest way really is to add a plugin. Now for most of my clients I use Tracking Code Manager, very easy plugin to use. You simply install it, select where you want the code to go, and paste the code in. Now you can also use obviously other tracking code installer plugins as well. WordPress tracking codes is good. But if you've got a theme, most themes will allow you to add that code into the theme itself. And you can also add that code directly into the theme PHP editor file. Now, all themes, they have different areas that you can find to add this code. Under the Avada theme, which is the one I'm using, it's under the advanced settings, and for most themes it will either be under the advanced settings or it'll be towards the bottom of your settings page here. It might also be called developer settings or tracking or something like that, or HTML, custom HTML. So here we've got code fields, and for the ActiveCampaign code we want to add this into the footer of your site. Now this is called different things depending on different themes and different plugins. The footer of your site really refers to before the ending body tag, which looks like this. And in Avada you could just simply paste in the script here, click on Save Changes, and you're done. And most themes will have an easy way to do that. If you're using another theme that doesn't have a way to do that and you don't want to install a plugin, then you can go into the theme editor here, find the footer PHP file, because we want to be adding this to the footer, and then in here we'll find the ending body tag, and we just simply add it before the ending body tag. There you go, make sure it's before that tag there. If it's not before the tag, you'll actually end up breaking the code and you can break the site. So just be very careful what you're doing here, and also always take a backup of your site before you make any changes to any of these PHP files. So you can simply just save that or update the file as well. Okay, so that's 3 ways to install your tracking. Now a special note on tracking for ActiveCampaign. Because not all contacts, just because you've installed the tracking, it doesn't mean that all the contacts in your list are now going to be tracked whenever they visit your website. ActiveCampaign has to know what that contact's IP address is. And the easiest way to find out the IP address is for a contact to fill out a form, so one of the ActiveCampaign forms, for the contact to open or click a link in an email or reply to an email, for them to submit an opt-in via an integration that is usually a deep data integration to ActiveCampaign. So that could be Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Square, all those sort of things that are under the deep data integrations. But ActiveCampaign just needs to know what the IP address is. Now, until they know the IP, that user could visit your website, could go to multiple pages. Those website visits will not be tracked because the IP address isn't associated to any user in your list. So that's why it's very important when someone opts into your email list to always send a welcome email, maybe a sequence of welcome emails, which is normally called a nurture or welcome series. to try and get them to open emails and click emails so that you can then see all their future website pages that they're visiting. And then you can tag them and do other things from there. So that's website tracking in a nutshell. One other sort of caveat here, I see people all the time building internal forms on ActiveCampaign. That's fine, but every time you submit an internal form from your IP address for a contact, it will then change the IP for that contact to whatever your IP address is. And so it'll override the IP, and therefore anytime you visit your own website, that will show up under that contact. So if you're using, or if you want to have any sort of internal forms to use to update your contacts, either in the sales funnel or add or remove tags, add them to lists, etc., always build those internal forms in a separate form builder. Don't use the ActiveCampaign form builder for that, because you'll disrupt all the URL tracking for those contacts that get submitted through that form. Obviously, if you're not worried about website tracking, then it doesn't really matter if you're using the ActiveCampaign forms. But most of the time, use something like Gravity Forms, Jot Forms, Google Forms, anything like that that is separate from ActiveCampaign, and that won't be updating the IP address for the contact. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a quick rundown on how to set up website tracking, how to avoid some website tracking issues, such as that form issue I just mentioned there, and then also how to whitelist your URLs. Make sure you check those URLs fairly regularly, because a lot of websites, they change their URLs, they add domains, they add subdomains, etc., and you need to keep that updated, or the website traffic won't be getting tracked. Okay, I'll talk to you in the next one. Hi, I'm Mitch Bayless, and if you're looking for someone to help you with your business automation, then click the button below to schedule your free call today. And if you found this video useful, remember to click like, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos.